Hello and welcome to this presentation on the internal and external environment of the sportswear brand ASICS. I'm Emma and I'll be analysing the mission and vision, how ASICS achieve competitive advantage and their situational analysis.
Hi, I'm Tom and I'll be introducing ASICS and looking at the EVR model and its application to ASICS and its change from 2017 to 2020. Firstly, this presentation will look at ASICS as a company before having a look at both the mission and vision statements. After this, we will look at an EVR model for ASICS in 2017. Then we will analyse both the internal and external environments by using tools such as SWOT and PESTLE. Penultimately, we will look into the next steps for ASICS and any opportunities and threats. Finally, we will look at what ASICS EVR congruence model looks like in 2020. Formed in 1949, ASICS is a successful, popular and dynamic sports brand. As shown on the graph, ASICS' success has grown hugely since 2005, now producing an annual revenue of €3.17 billion. Although evidently successful, there is scope for expansion of the brand, especially when compared to their main competitors, Nike, Reebok and Adidas. The brand's STP, as introduced by Kotler in 1999, consists of segmenting those enthusiastic about sport, targeting middle to upper class consumers due to high price bracket and positioning themselves in the sportswear market, offering sports footwear, apparel and accessories.
Here we have ASICS mission and vision statements. According to Forbes and Cena 2006, mission statements are crucial as they motivate staff and guide decision making. Therefore, ASICS having a clear mission ensures employee commitment and a full understanding of the business. However, with their mission being to become the #1 brand for the sports enthusiast, it seems more of a vision than a mission. With the vision being a time-based statement about where the organisation might want to be in the future, their mission statement just is instead. Being such a world-renowned brand, it's surprising that this is so wrong and is a slight cause for concern regarding ASICS' organisational structure. Similarly, the importance of a vision statement is expressed by David, 2003, who says that it is a vital part in the strategic process of a business. ASICS promotes a vision being create quality lifestyle through intelligent sport technology. However, this falls more under the requirements of a mission statement. This mix-up could signify poor team dynamics within ASICS, being a weakness of the brand internally.
As mentioned by Robson et al. 2013, an EVR congruence model shows how thoughtful and regular analysis plays an important role in determining the organisation's state of congruence. To claim an organisation is managed effectively from a strategic point, the manager has to show they fully understand the dynamics, opportunities and threats to their environment. Furthermore, ensuring the organisational resources are being managed strategically, taking into account the strengths and weaknesses. In 2017, ASICS were using sweatshops in Cambodia where employees were found to be fainting from poor working conditions. This was published in The Guardian 2017. This method of manufacturing isn't ethical and brings negative publicity to ASICS, which in turn will result in ASICS sales going down. Therefore, in 2017, ASICS values were out of line with the other parts of the model. As seen on the slide, ASICS resources are congruent as they are a large brand with ASICS Research Institute of Sports Science. Having a large amount of assets as shown on the graph on the slide clearly proves that ASICS are a large company with a lot of tangible resources. This links to the SWOT analysis as a major strength, which we will come on to next, and also in line with achieving their vision to create quality lifestyle through the improvement of technology. Finally, the ASICS environment was in line as shown. The money they made, €3 billion in revenue in 2017, highlights how they were still successful. This indicates that the external factors had little impact on the revenue made compared to 2020, where COVID-19 impacts the environment and revenue, as discussed later. From looking at these three aspects of the model, we have come to the conclusion that in 2017, ASICS were an unconsciously competent organisation.
Through the use of situational analysis, organisations are able to more efficiently formulate strategic planning through identifying factors that need to be maintained or improved in order to achieve success. Primarily, conducting a SWOT analysis on ASICS enabled us to identify strengths and weaknesses within the brand internally and opportunities and threats that present themselves externally to ASICS. First and foremost, it is clear that ASICS is a strong global brand with a presence across developed markets, which, as Khan and Rahman 2015 say, is always going to be important due to changing market conditions and consumer preferences, particularly within sport and the current COVID-19 situation. This allows ASICS to keep a strong brand image within the minds of their consumers, maintaining brand awareness. ASICS also have a strong unique selling point, which is defined by Henthorne, George and Miller 2016 as simply what sets the brand apart from the competition. In ASICS' case, this is the gel inside their shoe that is able to absorb and disperse the pounding action, minimising damage to the runner's feet, and this is reflected in the price of their shoes. Having this USP can be linked to competitive advantage, giving the brand an edge to competitors as no other brand can offer the gel shoe. Their strong innovation and R&D helps ASICS in achieving a successful differentiation strategy, which according to Porter 1985 involves charging premium prices for a high-quality product with extra value-added features for the consumer, such as the USP. Critiquing the weaknesses of ASICS was also necessary for this analysis, in order to find facets that put the brand at a disadvantage against its competitors. Primarily, we found that ASICS need to focus on the promotion aspect of their marketing mix, particularly when compared to Nike, who offer student discounts regularly. Promotions often entice new consumers in, and so ASICS would find it beneficial. This would also therefore help ASICS in achieving their mission in becoming the #1 sports brand, as they'll be more likely to increase sales and climb their way up the market ladder. Being a highly priced brand, certain groups of people might be unable to purchase, and so having promotions now and then can encourage more to buy, in turn building brand equity through brand awareness, as Aker 1992 states. Another major weakness within ASICS is their mission and vision, as mentioned. It can be suggested that this weakness can impact organisational culture, which according to Henriksen et al. 2010, influences organisational functioning. It's important that their mission and vision are changed to ensure strong organisational functioning and success against competitors. Externally, we analysed opportunities, seeing ASICS as one of the top brands that kept up with demand due to a significant increase in exercise participation rates over lockdown. Nuffield Health 2020 state that 76% of people in the UK alone started a new form of exercise for both physical and mental health reasons. Sport England 2020 also similarly reported that 63% of people at least took up walking as a way to get out of the house. For ASICS, this was taken as a huge advantage, with their Runkeeper app seeing a 252% increase in yearly sign-ups this year. Similarly, ASICS shifted almost all of their marketing investments online in order to drive traffic to the e-commerce sites and drive direct sales, resulting in an 139% increase in European online sales, posing ASICS as one of the most successful brands to maintain success over the pandemic. Continuing this e-commerce success is an opportunity in itself, as it should be integrated into the business model to increase efficiency in the business. This will also help in achieving being the #1 sports brand, which is their current mission. In the current situation of a global pandemic, a huge financial threat is posed to ASICS. ASICS saw a 21.5% drop in sales over the first 6 months of the pandemic, resulting in a £1.06 billion loss. Although the online sales rose, its home market fell by 44.5%, equaling $794.6 million loss. Competitors such as Nike, Reebok and Adidas are also a huge threat, and in line with these competitors is a threat of the availability of substitutes for cheaper prices, which might cause consumers to purchase elsewhere. For example, for a women's running trainer, the average cost is £140 at ASICS, where at Reebok this is £75. The threat of competitors puts huge pressure on ASICS achieving their mission, as being the #1 brand will not be possible if another sports brand is at the top. In order to achieve competitive advantage, ASICS implement a differentiation strategy, developed around characteristics such as product quality, technology and innovation, according to Moses 2010. Successful differentiation strategies are said to have access to leading scientific research, a highly skilled product development team, and corporate reputation for innovation, which, as mentioned in the SWOT analysis, ASICS do. The key strategic challenge for most businesses is to find a way of achieving a sustainable competitive advantage over the other competing products and firms in a market. Using differentiation allows ASICS to focus on their USP and other unique aspects to their products to expand their consumer base. The gel shoe is a prominent part of how ASICS achieve competitive advantage, allowing them to stand out from their competitors. Lee and Yu 2019 explore the relationship between innovation and competitive advantage, stating that brand capability and innovation has a direct significant effect on competitive advantage. A common tool to analyse the external environment is PESTLE, a framework that can be used to analyse how political, economical, social, technological, legal and environmental factors impact organisations. Another common framework is a simplified version known as PEST, introduced by Agwell in 1967. However, we felt it more appropriate to use PESTL as legal and environmental factors impact ASICS, particularly environmental due to the current global pandemic. Due to time limits of this presentation, a full PESTL analysis is presented in Appendix 1. However, the main aspects will be mentioned on this slide. The external environment presents various economic challenges, of which impact businesses and brands such as ASICS. ASICS must consider changes in disposable income, employment rates, and economic growth patterns, all of which will influence how much money consumers spend on goods. With the current global pandemic, this is even more of a threat to ASICS, with the impact of global pandemics on businesses explored by Donthu 2020, who shows links between changes in disposable income linking to consumer buying behaviour. With the majority of ASICS products being fairly high priced, targeted at the middle to upper class, these changes can be detrimental. These economic factors pose high-risk threats to ASICS sales and success as a brand. Social factors also impact the external environment by influencing peak purchasing habits and lifestyle choices, which might include religion, consumer buying patterns, demographics, opinions, media, and brand preferences. Their influence on a brand such as ASICS can result in fewer purchases. A key social factor for ASICS is the media and its influence on consumers. In 2019, Australian rugby player Israel Folau was dropped by ASICS due to homophobic social media posts shown in The Guardian 2019, of which did not align with ASICS values or views. Before ASICS decided to drop him, people associated ASICS with the athlete and his homophobic views, no doubt losing consumers and respect from consumers. This poses a high threat level to ASICS. Also within society comes an opportunity from changes in lifestyle patterns, where ASICS might benefit from increases in exercise rates, leading to a rise in sales for sportswear. This will be discussed in more detail later. The third main component of PESTL for ASICS is environment. However, it can be argued that this is the case currently due to the global pandemic and isn't specifically just for ASICS, but businesses worldwide. Regardless of COVID-19, there are other factors such as the availability of open space to consumers that impact purchase intentions for consumers. As shown in Appendix 1, this is a threat to ASICS, as little space in more rundown or smaller areas means that less space for exercise, and therefore little need for sportswear as there is little availability for activities. As shown on these diagrams, numerous aspects of the PESTL link together within ASICS. With the previous use of sweatshops at ASICS receiving huge media backlash, the social and legal aspects of PESTL link together. With sweatshops being illegal and against the ethical values at ASICS, the media were quick to broadcast this, linking social and legal together. This is also shown in everyday life, where the media broadcast stories about brands and businesses affecting its reputation and resulting in consumers going elsewhere. With ASICS, this also links to the EVR congruence model, which is shown in 2017 had values out of line. Also, within the social aspect of PESTL is culture and religion, which links with both legal and political, as rules and regulations might change within different countries in regards to manufacturing and ethics. This also forms a link between economic and legal, in the sense that more money will have to be put into manufacturing elsewhere, so ASICS must rethink their strategic plan. Also closely linked are environmental and economic within PESTL, particularly within this global pandemic, where high redundancy and unemployment rates have a huge impact on disposable income, and therefore sales. With ASICS products not being a necessity, but more of a luxury, this drop in disposable income resulted in a drop of sales, as mentioned previously. This can also be linked with technology, where there is less money to spend on new technology and new products. However, as previously mentioned, ASICS turned this around after 6 months through investing in e-commerce and digital marketing strategies. Between social and economic, there are also several links, firstly being how the religion and culture of consumers around the world differs, impacting brand perceptions and therefore sales. For example, the colour of a brand can portray different messages depending on the culture, either being positive or negative. The importance of getting the brand colour right for targeting your specified audience is highlighted by Cunningham 2017, who looked into colour research and consumer brand relationships. Using the appropriate colours in branding allows brands like ASICS to develop an identity and build a brand relationship with consumers. ASICS used blue, which has a strong meaning around the world, being a positive. Through conducting this analysis, we were able to see the most important opportunities and threats for ASICS that they should focus on in the future. This helps ASICS in their strategic planning, and the importance of this is highlighted by both George 2019 and Jennings and Disney 2006, who say that organisational success is enhanced when a strong, focused strategy is created. As shown on the hierarchy triangle, the main opportunity presented here is around social lifestyle changes and the global pandemic, with statistically more people participating in sport. A huge rise in running, in particular, with 404,600 more participants over the past few months reported by Sport England 2020, in line with the environmental factor of COVID-19. Expansion of manufacturing might be a factor that ASICS can look at to keep up with the increased demand of exercise. Setting monthly sales targets in line with the growth of exercise will help ASICS in assessing how well the company is doing in regards to the demand for sportswear, while also keeping employees motivated through target setting, as Lee 2016 says. As mentioned, ASICS have utilised strong e-commerce marketing techniques, resulting in a 139% increase in sales online. This opportunity to stand out from competitors online will also reduce the threat level of competitors, whilst placing ASICS high in the minds of consumers, creating high brand recognition. Setting a target of 170%, for example, is realistic over the next 6 months to continue sales online. Continuing this can also give scope for ASICS to release questionnaires on how consumers shopping online find the website accessibility and room for improvement. Doing so will also make consumers feel like their opinion is important, which helps create brand loyalty. Another opportunity for ASICS is utilising advances in technology to create more innovative products in line with their mission and vision. An internal strength of ASICS is their strong innovation, and therefore this opportunity is extremely realistic for ASICS. Due to ASICS already having a strong USP, this opportunity is not as important for future direction as social lifestyle changes, as shown on the pyramid, but it can still be highly beneficial to ASICS in achieving success. Similar to the opportunities, this slide presents the 3 main threats that ASICS face which need addressing in order to be strategically successful. With climate change a rising issue, this poses a huge threat that ASICS must consider and how they can source sustainable materials, especially as consumers become more conscious, and therefore only buy from brands with a strong sustainability report and focus. This is also mentioned in the pestle in Appendix 1. National Geographic 2020 report a 1.6 degree rise over the past century, with predictions suggesting that this is speeding up. If resources and consumer perceptions change, ASICS might struggle to succeed just in the sports apparel market and should consider introducing other things such as wearable technology, which people can use for multiple reasons. This links a huge opportunity with a threat and can be implemented in their strategic plan by budgeting and planning over the next 5 years. Their competitors also pose a high threat level, particularly Nike and Adidas. Although ASICS have a strong USP, this can be enhanced and highlighted more to spread brand awareness and help in overtaking these competitors, and this will also help in achieving their mission. The third main threat that ASICS face is linked to social, economic and environmental factors regarding less disposable income for consumers. With ASICS being a luxury brand, COVID-19 has resulted in high unemployment rates and therefore less disposable income. However, this is not as important as climate change and competitors, as not only ASICS is impacted.
Looking at both internal and external analysis of ASICS' environment, both the resources and values of the model both align, meaning that the company is in strategic drift as the environment aspect is out of line. As explained before, ASICS sponsors both the South African and Australian rugby teams, so therefore their resources are in line with their values. This was reinforced by Smith et al. 2008, as they found that teams with a large, passionate fan base were likely to have higher purchasing intentions, and as both teams are 1st and 6th in the world rankings, they have a big stature in world rugby, meaning that they'll have a large fan base. Furthermore, ASICS have agreed a new code of conduct which prevents them from using poor working conditions and forced child labour, which therefore means that their values are congruent with their resources. However, looking back at their mission and vision statement could suggest that their values could possibly be out of line, as a vision should be a time-based statement, and ASICS' vision is creating quality lifestyle through intelligent sport technology. This vision doesn't have any time base to achieve their goal by, which therefore could indicate their values being out of line. However, as shown by the sales on the introduction slide, ASICS revenue hasn't decreased since 2017, which would mean that there isn't a major contributing factor. But if they don't reevaluate their mission and vision statement, then they risk becoming a lost organisation, with all parts of the model being out of line. With that being said, ASICS' environment is out of place due to the global pandemic. Unemployment rates have increased by 10%, resulting in a less disposable income, causing an initial drop in sales for ASICS. However, due to an increased participation of running, and ASICS being predominantly a running company, there is a larger market for them to exploit. Hopefully this has provided you with a thorough analysis of ASICS' internal and external environment. Please feel free to email further questions.